Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Aunt the Astro Chick, and today this is dedicated to my friend Katie. She's wanted me to talk about this for a long time, and I had written about it in January, and I'm making this short little video for her. But I'm going to talk about the astrology of P. Diddy, or whatever his name is now, Sean Combs, because back in January I noticed with all of I didn't realize everything that was going on. And so when I became privy to all of the, scandal that was occurring in that world, of course I looked at his astrology chart because it's what I do, right? Now there's no time of birth with Sean Combs's astrology. So we can only look at the aspectual relationships between planets and like the transiting planets, but that's okay. Um, in his chart, he has a 29-degree Capricorn Mars, which is interesting because Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, which means that it has its highest potential to be great, right? Mars is very hardworking in Capricorn. Capricorn is cardinal Earth. It is the sign of the goat, right? The greatest of all time, as in, you know, people that can climb to heights of success, okay? Because once again, that earthiness is about having things, money, status, security, that kind of stuff. And we know that P. Diddy has those things because he's a billionaire, he's a mogul, he has an empire, a music empire, and he has many connections. If we look in his chart, you can see that he also has Venus in conjunction to Jupiter in the sign of Libra. So Venus in her rulership of Libra in a conjunction to Jupiter. These are both benefics, the greater and the lesser. And it means, an abundance of charm, grace, social standing, um, money, also the finer, luxurious things in life. Also culture, right? He's cultivated a certain kind of culture, I would say. And yeah, so he's worked that placement as well as far as attaining celebrity, right? Attaining social status. And, for a while, for a long time, he was seen as this very generous type of person. And, he would give people money, he would buy them gifts, he would do a lot of things that seemed nice. But now that we know a lot more about what was going on and all the abuses that he initiated on others, um, and it's even deeper than that. It's not just about accusations now. It's also he was raided by the federal government, and I believe that they are trying to build a case against him for sex trafficking, and it's just the stuff that's coming out. It's not just one person saying it. There are multitudes of different people that are involved with accusing different things of him, different abuses through business, abuses through sex, abuses through money, relationship abuses. Also, a lot of speculation about his violent proclivities as far as like shooting people and just the violence that is part of this power structure that he has built, right? So in January, if you look here, the picture that I put as the backdrop here, this was in January when all that stuff started to kind of, it was when Cassie sued him for all those, for abuse and damages and all of that. And I think she got $30 million. Go girl. Like, unfortunately, she had to endure all of that. I just, it's awful to even think about how trapped she was. Like, that's the worst thing, is to be trapped in an abusive cycle. And I'm glad that she got out of it, and I'm glad that she's happy in her life. But having to relive that is never easy. And I think it was very brave of her to even come out like that, because I'm sure that at first, people didn't believe her. And can you imagine going through all of that trauma and people not believing you? I mean, it's hard to fathom. Actually, it's not hard to fathom. It's hard to accept, But I can see that happening because it happens all the time, right? It happens all the time. But with P. Diddy, let's get back to him, right? So in January, all these inner planets were like rushing towards that placement of Pluto, which was at the 29th degree of Capricorn. Now, since then, Pluto has ingressed into the 0 degrees of Aquarius. Right now, it's like 1. It's retro. It got up to 2 degrees, and now it's retrograde, so it'll move back to the 29th degree over the summer. I thought I wrote it down. So it's going to be at the 29th degree for a lot of the summer up through like in the fall, because it goes back to 0 degrees of Aquarius on like November 20th of this year. So he's going to have a long, maybe 2-3 months where Pluto is right on his Mars. Okay, and the last time that happened, that's when everything started to activate as far as his abuses of power, reaping his violent karma. We also have the South Node in the sign of Libra, which is where all of that benefic stuff that he's got, it's, the South Node decreases, so it could be taking away his social status and taking away his money. Obviously, he's been paying money out to people, right? Also, when the nodes, because the nodes move backwards, when they move into the sign of Virgo, the South Node will go into Virgo by beginning of next year, so not even a year, right? It will immediately come into contact with his own Pluto in his chart, and he'll have a nodal return. So, nodal returns, oftentimes we have to examine, our development thus far. So he's going to have a reflection period after this year. So next year will be a huge reflection period, and I wonder, because, we don't have his time of birth, but there is a technique in Hellenistic astrology called profection, and it's where you take your age and you can correlate it to a house, right? And even though we don't know what his houses are, where his ascendant is, we do know that this coming birthday for him, which his birthday's in November, this coming birthday is going to be an 8th house year starting for him. And the 8th house is one of those hidden places. It's a deep well of transformation. It's also about other people's property, other people's, the bonds that we have with others, right? And it's interesting because this year, so 2023 through 2024 birthday for him, he is in the 7th house here. And the 7th house is the house of contractual agreements. It's not just your spouses and your partners, it is that, but it's also legal in many ways. Because think about, like, when you marry someone, you sign papers. When you become a partner in a business with someone, you sign papers. Like, you make things legal in that house. So it's interesting that since his birthday last fall, he's been inundated with lawsuits. So many lawsuits, right? People accusing him, his others coming face to face and saying, you. Anyway, it's just interesting that that's the vibe, even though we don't know the setup of his chart. So I think, okay, and this is for you, Katie, I think it's all going to fall down. I think that they're going to investigate him for sex trafficking. He might go to federal prison. Like, it'll be, I don't want to say interesting to watch. It will be interesting to watch, but because I don't revel in anyone's downfall. But if he's a bad guy like this, he should be taken down, right? And the more and more that I learn about this whole situation, the more that I see him reaping his karma, and I hope that justice is served. So maybe I'll check in November on this specific issue. I didn't want to get into it too much. There's so many things you can watch on the internet about it. I actually went to like a law site, YouTube lawyer, and they were talking about the case, and it does not sound good for him. Not just him, his sons. And with Mars being that 29-degree Capricorn, I wonder if that, I would love to know what time he was born, but I don't. But, Mars also can signify men, in our lives. So, yeah, a lot going on there. But there you go, Katie. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'll be back with horoscopes in the next video.